Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Smriti Ahuja, and in today's video I'll take you through specific topics, specific contents which require proofreading before you submit your manuscript for publication purpose or for presentation or for final submission to your research guide. There are in total 10 contents which require proofreading, which require to be reviewed. In today's first part of the video, we will cover first 5 contents, and the remaining 5 contents will be covered in the second part of the video. Let me take you through the first part, that is the title. Please make sure while proofreading that you have made use of sufficient number of prepositions while naming your titles, because using preposition would add clarity between the relationship of the variables in your manuscript. For example, check out this original statement. It is using more of the nouns which are not separated with use of prepositions, so there is no clarity. But adding a preposition like for is giving much clarity about the relationship of the elements to be used in your manuscript. Check out the second example. Here also the author has used more of the nouns which are not separated by the preposition, but adding prepositions like of is making clear the relationship of various elements and giving a meaning to your title. Another point is to check out that you have not used all the nouns simultaneously without any break. For example, in the first statement, narrative, cinema, fiction, these are 3 nouns which are used simultaneously, just one after the another, and they are not separated by any other element of the sentence structure. So we need to use other elements of the sentence structure. For example, preposition like between, conjunctions like and, to clear out the relationship between various elements or to show how they are interrelated in your manuscript. Check out another example. Here also, the author has used a string of nouns not much separated with some other elements of the sentence structure, but using other elements of sentence structure like preposition for, conjunction and, gives meaning to your title. Check out the third point. While proofreading, please make sure that you have punctuated your title and placed your punctuation marks at relevant places. You can follow any 3 of the styles for capitalizing or punctuating your title. For example, in the first one, the author has used initials in uppercase for every word. But please make sure while capitalizing the first letter of every word, you have not punctuated, you have not capitalized articles, prepositions and conjunctions. Or you can follow another style. So check out the second example, which follows a sentence case. So only capitalizing the first word of the title and rest all are in running. In case you are using 2-part titles, make sure that you have separated it with a colon. The second important element for proofreading is the abstract. Please remember that abstract is not an introduction to your paper. Rather, it is the whole summary of your paper. So while proofreading, please make sure that all the elements which you have mentioned in your abstract form the part of your main text, and no such extra element or variable is mentioned in the abstract which is not further discussed in the main text. Also, a good strength of 5 to 6 words is considered as a good appropriate strength for keywords which need to be included, because it will help you further in indexing and citing purpose. The third point for proofreading the abstract is maintaining the word limit as per the instruction or publication instructions for your targeted journal. So while proofreading, please check that you have not exceeded the word limit from the one specified in the instruction manual for the authors. The next point for proofreading is to make sure that you have used the appropriate tense form for your abstract. Normally, present tense like we show and past simple like we showed is used for the abstract. In some cases, present perfect and present perfect continuous are also used while you are trying to describe a situation that began in the past but still holds true. Check out these statements which help to form a context or initial background for your abstract. The next point is the choice between the unstructured or the structured abstract. The unstructured abstract follows a paragraph and keywords at the end, but a structured paragraph or a structured abstract will contain distinct headings for all the sections, like background, purpose, methods or research methodology, result or findings, ending with conclusions. A sample unstructured abstract will look like this in form of a paragraph, and in the end there will be some keywords. A sample of structured abstract will look like this, which will have distinct sections like background, objective, method, results, and conclusions. The next and the last point while proofreading an abstract is to make sure that you eliminate redundancy. By redundancy, we mean that irrelevant words in the abstract are eliminated. For example, generic quantifications like many, several, few, these are vague, so they should be eliminated. Also, subjective adjectives like innovative, interesting, fundamental, they are too basic to be used and they do not add any weight to your abstract. They just occupy space, so they need to be eliminated. For example, the original statement which starts with extra words like this can be eliminated and it can be condensed into an improved form like this. So please check that the brevity is maintained. By brevity we mean that we are mentioning the exact words in the abstract. The third most important head that requires proofreading is the introduction. So please make sure that your introduction contains a series of short paragraphs with subheadings instead of a long paragraph. This approach helps to show clearly how elements, variables, or concepts are interrelated with each other and present a logical organization of your discussed concepts. For example, you can present your introduction in the following logical flow, starting from a background or a context with definitions, then moving on to what has been the accepted state of scenario of your topic, also stating the author's objectives, mentioning some important studies of the review literature, also talking about your own contribution to the present work, and concluding with some main results and some future implications. The second important part of introduction that requires proofreading is to check for the apt use of the tense forms. You can use present simple tense to make a general background context for your introduction like this. You can also use present simple tense at the end of the introduction to state what the author is going to do in the rest of the paper like this. Also, present perfect tense is used to mention what has been the progress in your topic till date, that is past to present solutions, like this form. The third important point to be checked in your introduction while proofreading is to make sure that it clearly presents a roadmap or a direction to your rest of the paper or thesis. It should include what important studies have been done by other authors in your field. Also, it describes how your contribution is going to be effective and original. Also, you should mention the shortcomings of all the previous approaches carried till now. You should also include something naive that you have discussed or you have presented a new approach or a procedure or experiment. The next important head for proofreading is your review of literature. Please make sure that you have included all the important points, like what have been the seminal works related to your topic and the progress made by the previous studies. Also, that you have mentioned recent work related to your topic. Please check that you have used the correct order to mention the previous literature. If you want to mention your review of literature in a chronological order, that is past to present studies, or you want to track the development of selected variables over the years. Please check that you have included sufficient achievements and limitation of the previous studies. Also mentioning and pointing out to the gaps or the limitations such studies reveal. Please make sure that you have mentioned how your work or your research effort is intending to fill such gaps. Next thing to check for proofreading is to make sure that your review of literature does not look like just a collection of past work by authors, but flows like a story tracking the progress and development of related concepts over the years. For this, you can use a sample structure to mention each of your previous study, starting with a mini introduction to the related concept, then citing the important or relevant study, also mentioning some summary in your own words, with some introduction to the next subtopic that you are going to talk about in your thesis. Let's check out this example. Here, the author has tried to use first sentence for introducing the main topic, that is cultural differences. The next paragraph is used for citing the important study related to the topic, like this. The next sentence is built up in a summary form using own words of the author, like this, ending with some introduction to the next subtopic that the author is going to write about the review of literature, like this. The next point to be checked while proofreading is the use of appropriate tense forms while mentioning your review of literature. You can follow present simple tense for description of some already established facts, like this. Or you can go for present perfect tense to give a general overview from past to present evolutions of your topic, like this. So it has been shows present perfect tense, also has proved, also reflects your present perfect tense. You can also use past simple tense in cases that special dates or specific dates are mentioned within the sentence, or the specific year of publication is also stated, or specific pieces of research are mentioned in your review, or in case the exact date is stated when something was written or proven, like this. So here exact date or year of studies have been mentioned. So you can use past simple tense like this. The next important head that requires proofreading is the research methodology part. Please make sure that you have used passive voice at most of the places rather than active voice, because the focus or the highlight is not on who followed a particular approach, rather which approach or methodology was followed. For example, this statement, which follows active voice, can be converted into passive voice like this to focus on the methodology which was followed, which is this, and not on the person who followed this, like this. The next important point that requires careful editing is to check for the appropriate tense form. You can use past tense in the research methodology section to describe actions that you did even before or during or after the experiment, like this. So these words show simple past tense. Also, you can use present simple tense to describe a standardized method that you have applied in your research, like this. The next element that requires proofreading is to make sure that you have given proper justification of your selection of method. Often, research methodology is the shortest section in your whole thesis, but it requires careful and proper justification of your choice of methods. You can justify your method choice by including following points. Try to highlight the benefits of your methodology in relative comparison to other authors' approaches. Also, don't forget to point out any major precautions which are taken by you as a researcher to add credibility. The next point and the most important one is to discuss the limitation of your methods or methodology that you have followed or you have encountered during your experiments. In order to validate your selection of particular method, you can use following sentence structures. You can start with words like in order to validate or in an attempt to identify, to provide a way, for the purpose of investigating, or simply you can mention the benefit of your approach like this. It is always advisable to keep a checklist in your hand when you are proofreading your manuscript, which entails all the specific heads for proofreading along with the subsections or the subtopics that need to be proofread. You can always track the status of your proofreading for each of the sections by using tick marks for the subsections you have completed proofreading for. I hope you find today's content useful and informative. For more information or assistance on proofreading services, please contact me, Dr. Smriti Ahuja, at the mentioned email ID. Please subscribe, like, share, and comment your feedback on the YouTube channel Learning with Chandan. Thank you.